Hello students, in case you missed today's or you had some questions about today's assignment, let me show you what you needed to go into to take a look at. You need to go into the tissues folder, and this is today's, this is Monday's class, but if you're in Tuesday's second hour class, it's kind of the same thing. You're going to notice that you need Play-Doh for the end of the week, so if you have class on Thursday, you need to bring the Play-Doh. If you have class on Friday, you need to bring the Play-Doh. On those days as well, I'm going to have a guest speaker. It's my niece. So she is a radiology technologist for Children's Hospital. So she is going to come and just chit-chat with us for a little bit. And then I'm going to explain to you what we're going to be doing with the Play-Doh. But if you open it up, what we have is a set of notes. So let me open up those notes. Before we do, take a look at it. You need to write them out. You need to have one question per slide, and you only need to do those that are in the pink lettering. If it's in black lettering, you don't need to copy it, and it's only those in the pink lettering that you have to make a question for. And at the very end, you need to make a 5-sentence summary. That 5-sentence summary is considered a summative assignment. So let's take a look at the notes. There we go. And we are off. So this is the title that you have to put, Tissues Part 2, and this is the essential question. What are more uncommon types of epithelial tissue? So you're going to see some very unique ones. You're going to hear the words cilia and microvilli. So those will be coming up. If you had biology, you remember what those are. So let's talk about some simple columnar epithelium. Some of them specifically have microvilli on them. So think about it like bristles on a toothbrush. And the reason why they are there is, especially and this shows a section of the intestine, it will absorb any nutrients and give a much larger surface area so that your nutrients can be absorbed and have a better chance of being absorbed, I guess is the answer that I wanted to say. So you have them very close together. The nutrients go by. Let's say this is a vitamin D. It gets absorbed and then it can go inside. If you just had it going across, it would just go like this, and that is decreased surface area. If you make it go up and down, up and down, up and down, they have more of a chance to get absorbed. So that is simple columnar. So we have to go with our form, function, and found. They are one layer. They are rectangular shape. They will provide absorption, especially for your digestive system. So we're going to find it in places like the digestive tract as well as the uterus, and they can secrete mucus. Okay. Next kind, and this is one of my favorite ones because they're so unique. This one is called a pseudostratified. So pseudostratified is going to be something that can be many layers. Sorry, it's going to look like it's many layers, but it's really just one layer. So it looks like more than what it is. So these guys in particular are going to have what's called cilia. So they're farther apart, and they like to go and wave. So if you ever have seen, for instance, any type of algae in a lake and you see it floating back and forth, that's kind of what cilia does. And if you will find these in your throat area or your trachea, so they will secrete a mucus, and what ends up happening is when you breathe in, you're going to breathe in air that's dirty. There really is no way. There is dust flying everywhere. When it flies, you breathe it in. What happens is that mucus will capture some of those dirty pieces that are in the air, and the cilia will continually bring that mucus up, so you swallow. So you end up swallowing that into your stomach. Your stomach digests it with the hydrochloric acid. Now, if you're a smoker, that all gets debilitated and it can't function very well. So then you end up with the smoker's cough, right? The trying to cough that up because instead of the cilia being there, it's all going to be drained down. So what do we got for form, function, and found? they appear stratified. So it appears many layers, but it's just one, because you're going to know that it's just one because they're all sticking down to that basement membrane. So they are all attached. So you would think that this looks like a layer and this looks like a layer. In actuality, it is all one layer, okay? All right, taking a quiz, you can take a look at these. The answers are there in the next slide. I'm thinking about putting together a quiz next week just so that you could identify these types of tissues. And then I would like to tell you about another funky one, and it's called transitional. And this one transitions from being stratified to being simple. And you only find this find this type in the bladder because your bladder stretches like a balloon, right? When you start drinking stuff, the bladder starts filling up. Well, it gets bigger. So unlike other parts of body parts, it doesn't necessarily get bigger. Your urinary bladder does, and when it gets to be bigger, it stretches out. So when it stretches out, the cells become thinner and thinner and thinner. So the cell layers become less and less, pardon me. So this is transitional epithelium. It's stretchable. It prevents leaking. You don't want to have urine leaking into your abdominal area. So it prevents that. And in this place, you find it in the urinary bladder. So that is another type. Let's go on to this last type. There are some that will actually secrete stuff. For instance, you're going to have what's called exocrine, and then you have endocrine. The exo is stuff that secretes out on the surface of the body. So an oil gland, a sweat gland, those are exos. And then you have the endos. So the endos then are going to be those, like for instance, your pancreas secretes insulin, your females with mammary glands. If there is a child born, they will start to produce milk for the infant. So those are the different types. Those are endocrine glands. Exocrine are going to be, for instance, salivary or sweat. So those are where those are found, and that is what they can be used for as well. So what do you got to do then, students? You have to write down the stuff in pink. You need to make a one question per pink slide. You need to do the last part, which is a 5-sentence summary. Any questions? You know I'm available tomorrow on Wednesday. Thank you.